who gives food to all flesh, for his mercy endures forever.
Tell us what's going on with Weight Watchers.
Oh, Weight Watchers filed Chapter 11, which is kind of crazy because they've been around for what I read from the 60s or something like that. They've been in existence a really, really long time.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting story. There's
Mm-hmm.
multiple articles about it. This lady was a stay-at-home housewife and a stay-at-home mom
Mm-hmm.
and loved cookies and gained a bunch of weight and then lost a bunch of weight and started a home meeting with a bunch
Home
of
group, yeah.
good ladies. Such a cool story. I
And
mean,
then, yeah, is it true? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, because some of it was, I think she was talking about cravings and um, so, was trying to help people around that too, different emotional eating. If it's true, it sounds like, it started off on a really good thing. It
I don't see
started,
why it wouldn't be
you know,
true. I mean, that's how most
yeah,
the network marketing companies started out was
a person, yeah, that created it. And yeah, so I think it has some really good beginnings.
Mhm.
Kind of evolved into, it's a billion-dollar business with all kinds of people subscribe to it and whatnot. But
I
then,
did. I was a Weight Watchers meeting goer for probably 6 months of my life back in my 20s after I
mhm,
filed.
yeah. And I think it had a lot of benefits in that regard because there was accountability and you got support for
Mhm.
coming into the groups and, and you started making friends in there and you all had the same drive of, the same goals that you wanted to accomplish. And I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
So I think it started out, I think, really, really good.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, it evolved into counting calories and counting all the different things and, then point systems and you can only have this or that. And cake was so many points and you could have that instead of, eating real food and saving up your points for those things. And they don't really, they're not equal.
No, they're not equal. And it kind of is the same thing that evolved with Atkins because Weight Watchers put out their own food products and they were all, ultra processed. And it's just like any other
Mm-hmm.
diet. They just, I think that the original idea behind Weight Watchers was admirable. I think it was, let's eat
Mm-hmm.
food, get away from the cookies, and
Right.
almost like AA or Overeaters Anonymous or something. You have a small group
Mm-hmm.
you are accountable to, and they, help you stay on track. But it wasn't supposed to be ever looked at as a diet. It was supposed to be looked at as lifestyle change, right? And that's kind of how,
Right.
even when I was going to Weight Watchers meetings in the 90s, that's how it was, looked at. But at that point, you had points, right? So
Yeah.
it had already evolved into, you want to stick to the 0 point foods, which is, of course, lettuce and certain vegetables and, the things that don't really have any calories in them and, or fat. And so but then you would have this ability to save your points. And so, yeah, I do agree with that. It definitely promoted, it it began to promote this idea behind save your points and binge, which for someone like me is completely unhealthy. But
Right.
it still promoted eating,
Which is good.
which is good. And the Chapter 11 bankruptcy is not a closure of business, it's a reorganization of business. So basically, what they're doing
Mm-hmm.
is they have $1 billion in debt and they have filed this bankruptcy so that these creditors that they owe all this money to will slash or eliminate the debt that they owe so that they can reorganize. And this is the thing that blows my mind. The article that Sheri sent me says that in 40 days, which my husband actually put a reminder on our calendar from the day that article came out to see if in 40 days their stocks actually go back up, because they were in 2018, their shares were worth $100. Right now, as you told me, they're penny stocks. So their value has devolved substantially because of this one CEO and the whole COVID thing and her trying to make Weight Watchers telehealth. But there's more, and I'm going to let Sheri tell you the more in just a minute. And then, they also lost some of their notoriety because of Oprah's discrepancies back in 2016, which Sheri's going to touch on in a second. And then, so now they're saying in 40 days, their stock prices are going to go back up because they've been public for years. So if that happens, that's going to kind of be a little bit of a kick in the teeth, because how do you go from having $1.5 billion in debt to within 40 days of filing bankruptcy being a profitable company again? That just infuriates me. It just, okay. So anyway, Sheri, why are they saying that they filed bankruptcy?
Well, because they have all the debt. They have all this debt and they can't pay it because they're losing people. So they've lost all kinds of people.
Why are they losing people,
I think
Sheri?
well, they lost Oprah for one thing. So Oprah was a big name to them. But there are also that telehealth thing was helping people go to semaglutides like Ozempic and Mounjaro. So now we've got a pill, essentially. It's a shot, but we now have something that's going to take care of it. We don't have to worry about what we eat, and we don't have to worry about the calories or the points or anything. We'll just lose weight because we're taking this GLP-1,
right?
Semaglutide, which GLP-1 is actually made by your body as well. So if you fix your body, then that would be fixed also. But regardless, so they've strayed away from eating real food to now going all the way to the other end and using pharmaceuticals. So people are leaving Weight Watchers because why not? Why be in Weight Watchers when you can just skip them and go straight to the doctor through the telehealth? I mean, you don't need to do that.
Yep.
So,
and here's the interesting thing. The GLP-1, and we did a whole episode on Ozempic, so we'll link it, but the GLP-1, all of these semaglutides are like having your stomach, like going and getting a gastro stomach surgery. Like you just, what? Gastric bypass. Thank you. It's like going and having a gastric bypass done because basically you can't eat. You literally eat this tiny little bit of food and you're so full that you can't eat anymore. And that is the purpose of the semaglutide. But what it doesn't do is fix the root problem. What it doesn't do is change your metabolism. So unless you take it for the rest of your life, you go right back to where you were and you gain all that weight back, and most people gain more back. So it's kind of like the same thing that happens with gastro bypass surgeries. Those people, it's a 5% success rate with the surgical people. It's probably about the same with the shot.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're not being taught what real foods are. You're not being taught how to eat. I know that, like, I think I spoke about it a couple episodes ago about a gentleman that I know that's on it. He's 75 years old, lost 20 pounds on it. And he can only eat 1,500 calories. So for me, who's at about 120 pounds, if I jump on my scale, it tells me that I need to consume about 2,500 calories for me to maintain my weight. But think about that. This is a big guy, or he was, and now he's only taking 1,500 calories in, and he can't eat anymore because that semaglutide is preventing that. What happens is it stops the body from processing the food. The food gets into the tract for digestion, and it just sits there and putrefies. So that's toxic, and it's going into your body and probably creating other issues. So, I mean, we don't want those toxins sitting in our body, in our colon, in our intestines. I mean, it's scary. It really is scary. And, you know, when I talked to him and I said, you only got 1,500 calories your body can take in, they better be good ones.
Mhm.
As he sat there
Now,
and
here's
ate
the other piece
a
of that.
banana muffin.
Protein and fat make you full faster, right? So if you're eating protein and fat,
Exactly.
you're not going to get that many calories in, because when I do strict protein only, I barely get 1,000 calories in a day because I'm so full and I don't take anything. But what happens is I actually will gain weight because I'm not eating enough fat to add more calories to my diet. So you have to, if you're on that limited of a caloric intake, unless you're eating garbage to get the calories in, you're not getting the calories that you think you're getting. If you're
No.
actually, I mean, he could be eating vegetables, but you know.
Well, and that's the other thing is having the fiber, because the fat, fiber, and protein is what helps make you feel full and satiated. Fat and protein does too, but the fiber is what really helps that in and helps your whole system eliminate the toxins and eliminate, you know, those things that need to be moved on out.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's scary, but yeah, they're reorganizing, and supposedly they'll be back. And, you know, what are they going to offer? Because they said they're going to change up some of the things that they're doing. So what are they going to offer? I don't know. Are they going to go back to, you know, I don't know if they were, I think they were still doing their in, you know, groups and stuff like that, but they're saying nothing's going to change to the person who is already like out there as a member through these 40 days. Everything's still the same.
It's
They're
just
just getting their debt wiped off from the loans. And yeah.
so here's the Oprah Winfrey history. I just was curious because they're filing bankruptcy now. In March of
Mm-hmm.
2024, she sold her shares. Well, it said I read that she donated her shares yesterday, but this article from Market Watch says that she made $221 million from selling Weight Watchers stock over the years. So she made a ton of money. Um, let's see, when did she donate?
I was going to say maybe she donated the final amount of shares she had, because I read the same thing, that she had donated her shares.
Okay, here she will be donating 408,697 options with an exercise price of $6.97 expiring in October 2025, and 3.3 million options with an exercise price of $38.84 expiring in November of 2025. She donated, says over the years, Winfrey has transferred some of Weight Watchers shares to the Oprah Winfrey Charitable Foundation. Proceeds of sales of Weight Watchers stock by the foundation have totaled $48.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
When she announced her board departure this week, this was in March of 2024, Winfrey said she would donate all her remaining shares and options to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, which she was already one of the biggest donors that they had prior to that announcement. So that's where all of her extra shares are going to be going. And then they will sell them off and make all that money.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting to me is that the expiration of those shares is this year in October and November, and they're going to probably wait to see what happens with this reorganization before they sell it. It's just
Sure.
fascinating. And according to that article that you sent me, she's already made those donations. So they already have that stock. They're sitting on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this all had been in the works as well. I mean, they've been, I think, struggling for a while, especially after she left.
Well, so in 2016, she claimed that she lost all her weight on Weight Watchers, and then the truth came out at the end of the year where she admitted she was taking semaglutides. Then at some point between then and now, they adopted the semaglutide as part of their weight loss plan. And then the telehealth thing. So the lady they brought in as the CEO was the one who created the whole telehealth and prescription setting, but it backfired. It didn't go very well. And so they lost a ton of money. They went into a huge debt amount. And then so now they have the CEO now is the former CFO of Shake Shack. And so he's the one who filed the bankruptcy. It's just, I mean, I get why he filed Chapter 11 if they're in that much debt, but it just is so interesting to me that they're in that article that you sent, they kind of blame semaglutides for their loss of customer
Hmm.
base. And the debt, I believe, is from all that telehealth stuff that woman created for them, trying to get semaglutides to be part of their program,
Mm,
because it would have
yeah.
had to have been a huge conversion for telehealth. You can't just snap your fingers and create a telehealth program. She would have had to buy software and
She
implement
bought it.
it.
No, she bought it. She
Yeah.
bought it. So it was, I think, already in existence, and she bought it. So that was another undertaking of money
Mhm.
that they may or may not have had. That, might have
But
been
they
a,
would have been paying doctors, and I mean, you can't just find somebody to write a prescription for you. You have to pay for that. And she would have had to pay
hmm
people that were certified to write those prescriptions across the world, because Weight Watchers is a worldwide company. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So they're kind of
Yep.
blaming semaglutides for part of their,
Their demise.
yeah.
So it was once it was maybe a good thing for them, and now maybe not. And either way, it's not a good thing. So don't go there.
No,
Don't go there.
yeah, I mean, the big thing is just if you really want to lose weight, you change your lifestyle, you change your food, you get 80% of weight loss happens in the kitchen. Then you take care of your
Hmm.
body, right? And I am a prime example of someone who has not lived that. If you go back and look at our videos from 10 months ago, you'll see I was much thinner 10 months ago. But 80% of weight loss happens in the kitchen. So you change your lifestyle with the food that you put in your body, and then you get and at the same time, you build your exercise routine. Weight Watchers never, in my experience, promoted exercise. It promoted counting calories, counting points, and
Hmm.
this idea of limitations, and or their whole concept was you weren't limiting, you were just
Hmm.
minimizing the treats and things like that. But then they got into the food production and the ultra processed stuff and the alternative sweeteners, the non-nutritive sweeteners that are now being found out are actually really unhealthy too. So
Yep.
Sheri and I have said it many times on this channel and our other channel that you eat God's food. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Yep. Eat God's food, real food, whole food. Yeah, it does matter. And any plan that you plan to do, if they're not teaching you how to eat, which with the semaglutides, typically, if they're prescribed by a doctor, doctors do not have the education to help you with nutrition. So they're not going to talk to you about, lifestyle and nutrition because they have never been trained in it. If they were, it was a few hours to at the most a week, but I've heard that's like, yeah, probably not. So, or unless they sought it out for
Mhm.
continuing education, which they may have, hopefully. I pray that they do. But if you're not coupling whatever you're doing with that, then you're not making changes. And like Leigh Ann said, you go off of it, it's going to come back. And it might come back with a vengeance, because I've also heard people can't get off of it.
Well, yeah, and the side
And it's
effects,
expensive.
excuse me, and the side effects. The side effects are awful.
Yeah.
I had a friend that
Yeah.
did it
I
for
went and had my,
8 years, and she said, never again, never again.
mm-hmm.
She lost 20 pounds in
Yeah,
8 weeks, but the side effects, even after she came off of it, were so gruesome. She said she'd never
yeah.
do it again.
Good. Good for her. Yeah, I went and got my hair cut last week, and the gal who cuts my hair is a big, she eats a lot of microwave meals. That's all I will say. She is not healthy. She's probably closer to my age. And she said that the women that she's had that have been on the semaglutides, she said they're losing hair left and right.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. That's because of nutrition.
Oh, yeah.
Your body is going to let go of things that it doesn't need because you don't need hair.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need hair. And so it's gonna go, it'll go away. You may have to have it chopped off.
And guess what
I have
helps
another
hair?
friend who had to have it chopped off.
And
Yeah.
what is it? What macro is it that actually promotes hair growth? Fat.
Okay. So,
People who are
I mean,
carnivore,
yeah,
when they eat lean protein, they lose hair. You need fat in your diet, and fat makes you full faster. So I would
yep.
imagine people who are on semaglutides don't eat enough fat.
They don't eat enough, period.
Well,
So that's, yeah. Because what is it? It's a Pritikin diet that there was like zero fat in it. I mean, in the beginning, there was like very little fat in it because I remember my mother-in-law being on it and she was losing hair just in the handfuls. And so think about it. You know, if you don't get all of the, if you don't get all the nutrients your body needs, then your body is not going to function well. It
yeah.
just isn't. It's only going to be a matter of time before it says, that's it. I can't. It's going to do as much as it can just to keep you alive. And yeah, that hair might go away. Yeah, you know, your teeth might go away. Yeah, your bones might get brittle. Just saying, you know, there's a lot of things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well,
Yeah.
no, think about it. But
We're in a weird time in history where everybody wants the ultra quick fix, and the ultra quick fix will always have a negative impact.
yeah, it really will. Um, it's it's yeah. There's not a pill for every ill. There really isn't. So,
Yeah.
you know, coming back to eating the foods that God created for us, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be your best way. And you know, the other thing I would say is every pharmaceutical drug, which any of the GLP-1s are, Ozempic, Mounjaro, whatever it is that you're on, they all have side effects. Go read what the side effects are. All the side effects are created because of deficiencies in some nutrient that your body's not getting, which means you're going to need another medication, and it'll just keep going. So, you know, think about it. If you're not taking care of your body, that's what's going to happen. They're just going to keep prescribing more medications for you, and you're going to keep getting depleted in more and more things. I have a big book like this
Mm-hmm.
that a pharmacist wrote years ago that explains all the drugs and what it depletes.
I love it.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Eat God's food. Eat your meat,
Eat God's food.
fat, eat your veggies. Stay away from, you know, try to eat organic, but even if you can't eat organic, just eat God's food. He'll say your prayer.
Yeah.
He'll bless it.
Yeah. Always say your prayers over the food, and organic does matter. Apparently, it has, from what I've read, I think 40 to 60% more nutrients in it. So less toxins, hopefully. We can't guarantee that, but supposedly in the testing they've done, that's what they've come up with. So if you can, buy it. Either way, pray over your food.
Just don't buy the stuff in the center aisle. Stay away from the freezers. Stay away from the chips and dips and crackers and cookies and canned foods.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you look at the label and you see a word that's about this long and you can't pronounce it, you don't know what it is. Guess what? Your body doesn't know what it is either. So you know what it does? It pushes it into fat. It pushes it into your fat to keep it away from your vital organs so your body can survive.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're creating more fat by eating the unfood.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Here's the question. Did Weight Watchers file bankruptcy because Oprah donated all of her shares and devalued the company because GLP-1s have caused their business to take a dump in client numbers, or because this lady decided to try and get GLP-1s as part of their weight loss package and it backfired on them? There's so many ideas around why Weight Watchers is filing bankruptcy, but the biggest takeaway is you don't need Weight Watchers and you don't need GLP-1s.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't.
But we would still love to know your thoughts on why Weight Watchers filed bankruptcy.
Exactly. Yeah, let us know. I mean, we have our own thoughts, but what are yours?
Yeah.
And does it make you sad? It's not making us sad. So, but they're going to be
What'll
back.
be interesting is the follow-up. So we'll watch, and in 40 days, well, probably 30 something days now, but we'll do a quick little update in one of our episodes to let you know if they actually revalued themselves and got back into the public trading market instead of the stocks.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, don't forget to stay for the funny at the end of the video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with everyone you know and love. Let us know what you'd be interested in hearing from us on. We would love to make sure that we are providing what you're here for. We're going to start diving into a little more conspiracy stuff here in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. That should be really fun. And we will talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.
Take a pick. I'm on Ozempic. Snap it quick. I'm on Ozempic. Lose weight naturally. Wait, does that mean dieting? I'm looking for an easy fix. One where I can keep my Twix. My doctor said this should do the trick. Inject this and lose weight quick. My belly's gone. I can finally see my dick. My belly's gone. I can finally see my dick. Weight suppression. Can it cure depression? The side effects